How's that? Can you hear me now? What's up, Otakus? It's your tour guide here. I have come down with a cold, and I was kind of debating, should I go on tonight? Um, Earlier today, as you know, I'm on medical leave, and earlier today, I just took a nap, took a kind of long nap, like mid-afternoon, and I felt better. Uh, and I don't know. I think I'm just gonna have a little trouble sleeping tonight, maybe, possibly. Um, so we'll see. Um, just a lot of congestion, coughing. Uh, just don't feel, just kind of feel, eh. But we're gonna kind of power through this. I do want to kind of try stay consistent with this, and today is a big reading day. We're reading really a pivotal story arc here, an exciting one. Um, One that I think for people of my generation, uh, around my generation, definitely some. I guess if you're a young kid in the '90s, you might have remembered this as well. I know a few community members out there who um, talk about this run on their channel and the impact it had on them as a collector and a young comic book fan. It's nice to see. So we're gonna get into this. Just give me a moment. I'm gonna put my brace on. Put my brace on, and we'll get this thing started. There we go. All right. So today we are focusing on. Get everything set up here. Focusing on this book here, Adventures of Superman 500. Now, this came in several different, excuse me, this came in several different formats, or I should say covers. It came in a sort of a hardbound, I shouldn't say hardbound, sorry, in sort of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a cardboard, not cardboard. So this is the standard comic book. It also came in like a kind of a harder cover, like a word. The term's not coming to me, but it's like a stiffer cover, um, like a hardbound. Like what am I looking for? Yeah, like a hard, not a hardbound. Was it? Uh, Something bound edition, and that one had a cool sort of graphic on it, kind of talking about or showing what was kind of taking place in the story. Because we leave at a very pivotal. The last issue we read, we left at a very pivotal point for Jonathan Kent here, Clark Kent's dad, his adopted father, Earth father. And so we're continuing on with that, and then, but at the same time, this issue would kickstart just a whole another can of worms, and it kind of just, we were kind of dealing with the loss of Superman. Everybody's kind of reflecting on you know the loss, trying to figure out kind of who what Doomsday was, and kind of picking up the pieces here and there. Also, there's this issue around Superman's body, right? He was buried, and Lex kind of, he pretends to thwart some terrorists or the government agencies that are after Superman's body, like digging it out of his memorial. But he takes the body for himself, and that's kind of where we are in the story. So we're going to get into this and continue reading. So let me see here. I think this is it. Here we go. Adventures of Superman 500, Back from the Dead. Oh yeah, before we get started again, let me pause here for a minute. I gotta get something else here. Oh man, where did I put it? All right, well, I'm not going to find it. I do have I wanted to show off the card that came in the polybag edition. So before we get started into reading, let's take a look at some of the different covers. So this is the again, what's that term, man? It's the bound edition here, the hard card cover edition here. Then we get the standard sort of newsstand edition, which is what I have. I also have the white polybag edition. It's somewhere, I just couldn't pull it out. And in the white polybag edition, it comes with this card, which is a really cool card because it's setting up which, if any, is the real Man of Steel. Like it's presenting this sort of question to fans. If Superman does return, will he come back as one of in one of these four forms? And so it just again, it plants this huge kind of curiosity seed in the minds of anybody reading this. And again, this had a large footprint in the sense that it just brought a lot of people who are into comic books, collecting comic books, or just kind of, it was the kind of title at the time. It was the thing, the most news generating, the most interesting, because they had built it up across. I mean, it was kind of a slow build up, and then it crescendoed into the battle, and it just, again, it caught the attention of so many people, both in and out of comic books. So but how could, now you've killed him off, right? You've killed him off now, and you've got a bunch of people like interested. How do you maintain or sustain this sort of following and interest? And they kind of go into this Funeral for a Friend series, and it's really not a lot happening there. It isn't really until this issue, I think, where comic book fans are just like, okay, you got me. Let's see how this thing, let's ride this thing out. So we're going to start here. Mrs. Kent, I'm afraid it would be best if you stepped out into the hall. I'm not going to do any such thing just so one of these attendants can pull a sheet over my husband's head. Mrs. Martha, we're not giving up on Jonathan. I just feel it would be better if you. I won't abandon him, especially now. That man and I have been through too much for that to happen. You just keep on doing what you've been doing, and we'll bring him back together. Doctor, he's just flatlined. We're losing him. The light, so very bright. That is you, isn't it, boy? I found you. Take my hand. Lowell County General Hospital, Kansas. Jonathan Kent, you listen to me. Don't you give up on us, on me. You're too blamed stubborn just to give up. How's that lidocaine coming, nurse? 100 milligrams coming right up. Coming up. Let's try this by hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, Jonathan, you old cuss. We've got a heartbeat. Not strong, but it's a start. Clark, is it? It is you. Wait, don't go, not into the light. I have to, Pa. It's pulling me, compelling me to enter. But you can't go, Clark. This is all that remains of Clark. These clothes, his glasses. From here on, the journey must be traveled by Kal-El, last son of Krypton. Go back, rejoin the living, Jonathan Kent. The voices whisper that your time has not yet come. Not my time? Wait, son Kal-El, it's not your time yet either. Listen to me. Let me go in your place. I'm talking to you, you race. Take me instead. Do not delay, Kal-El. Your destiny awaits. You cannot cross over. Martha needs you now more than ever. We must go on. No, I love you, Pa. No, I'm not letting go. I don't like this one bit. No, sir. No, sir. This is just not good enough. The lidocaine should have boosted him. Look, Martha, we need to get him out of his clothes into a gown, and this area is going to get crowded. I'll just help then. I told you I won't. Mrs. Kent, believe me, no one's going to give up on your husband, I promise it. Now why don't you head down to the nurse's station and get yourself a cup of coffee? I don't. All right, young lady, I suppose I could use a cup. Martha, dear God, Izzy. Lois, child, you came all the way from Metropolis? I got the first flight out. Wanda Lang called to tell me, but that isn't important. How is he? Doctors are trying to put on a good face, Lois. But in all our years together, with all the ups and downs we've been through, did your people come through? Is it all here? I've never been this scared he was going to die. These guys could be investment bankers or insurance agents, with one notable exception. I mean, who sells stocks or insurance policies off the hood of a car? You better have all the cash, friend. I like magic, friend, if all the merchandise is in your case, then all the cash is in mine. Then let's not break the spell, shall we? That is grade A Colombian just brought in from Florida. You broke the spell, you set me up. What are you? I've heard enough. These types with their tiny drug transactions sicken me. The Colombian doesn't have to deal with the average junkie who'd kill him, his own grandmother get high, while the buyer isn't bothered over the trail of dead judges or policemen, decent people who stood in the way of exporting poison to this country. The deal, my money. As for your money, I'd save those teeth for the tooth fairy if I were you. I've been on the sidelines too long, watching this place sink deeper than anyone thought it could go. A man's got to stand for something. I'm going to live up to this name, Gangbuster. Who knows, maybe they'll give you a volume deal. Stop, you're going to kill him. The buyer's on his feet, reaching for a gun. You're going to be sorry you crashed this party. I'm not going to be preached at by a lousy oof cop. A chill runs through me. The guy's reaching for his badge. What have I stumbled into? Drop your weapon. Do it slowly. Well, hotshot, we've been setting that dealer up for weeks. He was going to introduce us to his boss. How was I supposed to know? Look, let me just leave. You can cover this somehow. No deal. Didn't you know there was a warrant out for your arrest? I don't know about warrant. I mean, how do you serve papers on a costume vigilante? Look, pal, those pushers deserve what you gave them just because they filed charges against you. Ugh. So the the gangbangers I roused get the final laugh at my expense. Gangbuster, don't make us play rough. We're only following orders. Will you blue boys stop pussyfooting around? You're paid to uphold the law, not bend it. They know we're on the same side. No way they're going to shoot me in the back. I'd love to hang around and chat, but I think I hear my mother calling. Gangbuster, for God's sake, halt. Halt or I'll bring you down. Charlie, no. I'm not going to watch this guy make monkeys of us. Arrgh. Hey, what's up, Ron? Hope you're enjoying this. Happy Monday. Where were we? Here we go. I got him. Not yet, they haven't. And if they think I'm going to let some juvenile delinquents trump up charges against me, they better guess again, because there's no way I'm going to jail. Bullet grazed me. I can still make the jump between those buildings and lose the cops. The sight of Hobbs Bay, 40 feet below me, puts a damper on my escape plan. But the hollow thump of footsteps behind me forces me to improvise. Nowhere left to run, pal, so put those hands up and turn around. Okay, you've got me. Would you just point that thing away from me? He's a sucker, and I'm an idiot. Jeez, don't. All right. Enjoy. He's a sucker, and I'm not. Jeez, don't. The cold air numbs the pain in my arm, and I don't hear any more gunshots ring out behind me. They must be as shocked as I am that I jumped. This was really stupid. I don't want to die. What in the heck made him jump like that? I don't know. Suicidal tendencies? Let's get some divers here to search for a body. No way anyone could have survived that. My God, what have I stumbled into? This battlefield? Wait, I was separated from my combat unit. But why? Why is my memory so dang fuzzy? Think, Kent. Think, we had orders to liberate a captured airman. My unit, they're dead. All dead. Mission command, do you read? Over. Radio's dead. Everything's dead. Death is all around me. But I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm the only one who can bring that boy back. It's all up to me. There's just no way we can abandon one of our own. More death. They've been through this way. God knows why they burned out these poor farmers. None of them is armed. Darn shame that no one looks to be the same age as my brother. Harry, what in heaven's name are you doing in Korea? John, don't you remember? I fell under the thresher machine back on Pa's farm. I'm dead, Johnny. We're all dead here. As for where we are, it sure ain't Korea. Another thing, enemies got your boy. Can't be more than a couple hours ahead. Harry Kent, don't you go dying on me again. Go get him. The boy don't belong, Johnny. You do not belong, Jonathan Kent. The flyer does. Damn you, lying eyes. You go straight to hell. Well, I'll look like he has at that. Now, what made me say that? Soldiers just lying out cold at my feet. Combat fatigue. First, I'm talking to my dead brother. Next, I'm fighting ghosts. Well, there's no time to rest. I've got to push deeper into enemy territory. Peter, we absolutely have to have a tighter opening. Is there any way to squeeze the footage we eek? Vincent Edge, this is the 90s. I could press sexual harassment charges against you. You can press yourself up against me, Catherine. I may be old, but I'm not dead. Now wipe that look off your pretty face, Miss Grant. I'm just an old timer trying to flirt. I need a small favor. Peter and I are pretty booked on our TV special, World Without Superman. Please? You're friendly with Jimmy Olsen, right? He hasn't shown up to tape the Turtle Boy show in 2 weeks. He's been pretty devastated by Superman's death then. They were friends. Sure, but we've all had to get on with our lives, Cat. It might help to get him back in the swing of things. If you do this, I promise to take you and that boyfriend of yours out to a night on the town. That would be wonderful then, but what's all this about? Come here, honey. Tell Vinny all about it. We kind of had a fight. He just left. I'm so worried about him. He leads a dangerous sort of life. You shouldn't be alone tonight. Why don't you bring your son and we'll all have dinner together? I don't know. Oh, what's wrong with me? I'd be happy to accept your invitation. Now, excuse me, I've got to redo my mascara. We'll have a wonderful time. You just wait and see. Oh, and don't forget to call Olsen. Turtle Boy has been in reruns without him. Egad, sycophantic, addle-brained, methane gas-producing jackass. What is so funny? It's called Turtle Boy. It's the baddest new show. I mean, it's so bad, but like the producers are so, I don't know, it's, very 90s. I can't understand a word of what you said. Trying to is making my head spin and my teeth squeak. You're an idiot. This type of show offends me. It's aimed at the lowest common denominator. Who made you like an expert on TV? I was the king of kiddie shows. The mantle Groucho Mo Howard Soupy Sales was thrust upon me. I was king. I was Uncle Oswald. Oh yeah, I think my dad watched you. Sputter. Dad watched from prison as well. Did he ever tell you about a feature I did called Don't Try This at Home, Kids? Yeeks. Ow, 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 ow. Aw, no, up to your old tricks again, Loomis. We're running out of cellmates for you. It's not my fault that nobody appreciates a harmless little prankster. You've got to be kidding me. I don't want to be a complainer, but a Lions Club meeting? Come on, Ty. Look, Olsen, the early birds get the good photo assignments, and this isn't so bad. Inspector Henderson's been newsworthy lately for his stand against vigilantes. Maybe I can scam a free meal out of this while I shoot Henderson's speech. Henderson giving a speech. Say, is the inspector running for office or something? Maybe, kid. Ron Troop, got messages for you from the owner of Titano's Pizza. I don't feel much like dressing up as Turtle Boy anymore, Ron, with Superman gone. I know, I keep worrying over Mr. Kent, too. I mean, it would be great if he just walked in here after not being seen for 2 weeks, as if nothing happened. But I just don't think that's realistic. I'd never admit that in front of Miss Lane, of course. Lois, he and I have been through some rough times. He's been warned about his heart condition, but he wouldn't slow down, especially these past few weeks. I wonder whether he brought this on himself to try to get closer to Clark. He loved that boy as much as life itself. I guess if my faith were stronger, I believe I could join Clark in the afterlife, Martha, but not before it was my time to pass on. Our faith believes in heaven, and Clark was raised with those beliefs. Maybe Jonathan's time is up. Don't even think that, Martha. What was it Harry said? This sure ain't Korea. This sure looks like Kansas corn, all right. Something's mighty familiar about this clearing, like the one in my pa's field. What the? Just soil covering rotten planks. Like a dang fool, here I go and fall into an old boarded up well, just like I did back when. Jonathan, you didn't break your darn fool neck, did you? Hold on, son, I'll drop you a line. Pa? Pa, is that you? It can't be you, can it? Grab hold, boy. When I was 12, you pulled me out of this pit. And when you saw I wasn't hurt, you gave me quite a licking. Oh, that could be arranged, mortal. After I've introduced myself to you. I am known by many names, but you may call me Blaze. Are you the devil? Is it really important for you to know who I am? Why not simply accept my offer to help you in your quest? I'm prepared to offer you a deal. I'll help you rescue the captured airman in exchange for your soul. Like hell, I'll take my chances in this hole, demon. Oh, pity that you cannot raise the dead, Jonathan Kent, but I can. I'm still falling, but how can all this be? And why do I keep getting sidetracked from my objective? If none of this is real, why do I still feel so strongly about rescuing that captured soldier? There are opposing forces at work around you, human. The universe is locked in constant battle between order and chaos, good against evil. You face choices as you are at a crossroads between life and death. I serve to illuminate the pathways, right and wrong, good and evil, order and chaos. You question the reality around you, and you think that is a good start. You begin to see through the illusions that could cloud your perception, Jonathan Kent. Where in heck am I now? Is this another demon trick? I am Kismet, and I am beyond the corruption of demons. Your quest has thrust you into my light, human. What have you got to do with my quest, as you called it? Where do you fit in, and why don't you show yourself? You seek peace with your adoptive son, and have veered from the path which leads to him. I exist to eliminate that pathway for you. Heed my words. You have stayed by pursuing your own lifeline. The airman, of course. It was Clark. I was trying to find. That demon said I can't bring back the dead. Was she lying? It is not for you to know. More than this, you cannot raise the dead, but each being has it within themselves to affect their own fate. Farewell, Jonathan Kent. Choose your future paths wisely. You must live or die by them. Clark, the fates do shine upon you, son. There it is, just as I visualized it from your stories. The world of Krypton. Though I'd imagined it be much more crystalline in appearance. Dear God, no. What have you done to him? O great Rao, accept this last son of Krypton into your embrace. Allow him into your realm, that he may be reunited with the family of El. It's some sort of Kryptonian funeral procession, but that doesn't make any sense. Clark told me that they worship science as their god. Son, you're on the wrong path. You've got to wake up. Urgh. Silence this blasphemer. Who disturbs my journey, cleric? One who does not belong, Kal-El. Clark, it's me, your pa. Listen to me. These aren't friendly spirits, they're demons. Open your eyes, boy, they're taking you the wrong way. You're an outsider with no respect of things Kryptonian. Your legacy beckons, Kal-El. No. Urgh. Lousy watchman chases me away. I was only sitting on that crate. I mean, how am I going to steal something that big all by myself? If Lamar was here. Who's that? Somebody's in the drink. Calf. Hey, buddy, you've been shot. You okay? Can you stand? Here, you better take my coat. My friends call me Hot Pockets. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Sure, have some of my hooch, why don't you? Say, you don't suppose you could help me with a crate, could you? Nah, guess not. Want to go to Bibbo's joint with me? I've got a locker at the bus station with my stuff in it. If you can help me there, then I'll be finished with this stinking place. Let me be, you damned wraiths. Clark, Clark. Ignore his renting, Kryptonian. No, listen. Look around you at those things carrying you. I see Kryptonians at my side. Or do I? Cleric, something's different about them. And you. You heretic. The heretic confuses you. He was right. You are demons. You're all demons trying to confuse me by creating this obscene funeral march. You must not resist death's grip. You have come this far. There is no turning back. Will you just shut up? Psh. That's it, son. Show them you haven't given up. Let's hightail it out of here, away from the damn light. No, Pa. I can't deny death. Recognize these? Clark Kent thinks like a human, and we can die. You're a Kryptonian, the last of your kind. You can't walk into death's doorway willingly, boy. That's more like it. I'm taking you away from all this, that's all. Son, I'm convinced that's the only reason you're here. Is that because we raised you with the concept of mortality? You've been conditioned to accept this fate, and maybe it doesn't have to be that way at all. For once, I'm not begging you not to think like an earthling. Paul, this is as far as I can take you. I've been away too long. I'm too spent to go any further. Go on without me. We've come too far for that, son. That way spells eternal damnation, Kal-El. What? No, we're too close. Jor-El, my true father, you belong with your mother and me in the light. Can't you see that it has to be this way? You're going to have to trust me on this, son, because I haven't come this far just to see you walk away with this phony. Psh. He's no more real than that shovel that cropped up out of the ether. Let's face the music and dance. They say this way leads to damnation, Paul. I'm frightened for both of us. Maybe I should go first to check that it's safe. Have a little faith in your old man. We're doing this together. Just a little pain in my chest. He's so pale, Doctor. Let's do it. Can't you do anything else? We've given him as much stimulant as... I made it. We both did it. I brought him back. Thank the Lord, Pa. I brought Clark back to us, Ma. Pa, oh, Pa, you just lie back and tell me all about it. Clark is back. Is he? He's drifted off to sleep, but his vital signs are good. This is certainly cause for rejoicing, but we're not out of the woods yet. We'll monitor Mr. Kent for the next few days to make sure he's on the road to recovery. Jonathan was lucky. His doctor seemed pleased with his progress. I sure hate to leave them so soon. Martha's going to need a hand around the farm. It sounds like their neighbors are willing to help. I just had to get away from John's ranting about Clark being alive. I desperately want to believe him, but I can't keep kidding myself. Clark, Superman, died in my arms. Look, Daddy, a flying man. Huh? Honey, I was dozing. Do you think he's going to Metropolis, Daddy? Too, Daddy? What? Everyone? What's everyone looking at? All I see is a red blur. Could it? Mostly get a hold of yourself. There are hundreds of superpowered beings in this world. Please return to your seats as Captain has posted the seatbelt sign for our approach to Metropolis Airport. Please enjoy your stay in the Big Apricot, and we look forward to your flying with us in the future. I better find a phone and call the Daily Planet. Perry can bring me up to speed on what's happened while I've been away. Reports coming in from all over, sightings of a costumed do-gooder who witnesses claim was Superman. Say, ain't he supposed to be dead? Superman. Let's go to Clarice Day in Hobbs Bay. What do you think? It's just another publicity stunt. Can you describe your encounter, Cindy? I drew a picture of the man who got my kitty out of the tree. He said his name was Superman. Oh, and he smelled kind of funny, too. In Centennial Park, a stolen cab was prevented from running down a jogger. I mean, like these creeps are trying to turn me into roadkill, and then suddenly he's there. He was like, not as big as I thought he'd be, but he was gorgeous. Oh, yeah, it was him, Superman. In Suicide Slum, a tenement fire could have been worse. My husband and I got my boy Eldon out, but the baby's room was. Look, no one could get in there. It was all flaming and stuff. But he saved my baby, that Superman. The story wasn't much different at North Point Nuclear Plant. Hey, I don't care who he was. We were 10 seconds from China Syndrome when he showed up and sealed the containment tank. And finally, a Metropolis woman who was attacked in the laundry room of her apartment building. This used to be a safe building. I was doing my wash when this guy grabbed me. Suddenly, he crashes through the wall and, well, kept the sleaze from hurting me. I'm not sorry my attacker's dead. He sure won't threaten anyone ever again. Sure, you're ready? Got to do it, Anderson. With all the sightings, I have to know. I shouldn't be doing this, Lane. Right. You're right. And thanks. Oh no. He's gone. Not really. I'd say from the look of things that he's back. Superman's back. The beginning. First sighting. See him, Holmes? I see him. I just ain't believe in what I see. Look at what the shark's repacking. I never seen nothing like this. Hang tough, back off, guppies. Avenue M's dragon turf. It's yours if you can keep it. Why'd you waste them, Rabbit? Why not let the sharks handle it? They wasted hype. Pop some caps. They ain't got guns, Wheels. They got freaking ordnance. Got tired of auditing a pointless debate. Time is money, gentlemen. More efficient to cut to the chase. By tomorrow, word will be out. Every gang in the city will have the pack Toastmasters. Be doomed. Psh. Or fall to those who do, and we have the market cornered. Doom, doom, doom. We're about to become rich, gentlemen, beyond our wildest dreams. Without Superman here to stop us, Metropolis is mine. Doom, doom, doom. Doom, doom, wee, wee. It's the man. Do a ghost. Couple of drags still breathing. Not for long. Doom, doom, doom. What happened here? Looks like a freaking war zone. Wonder what those dudes were packing. Fred, look, somebody coming up out of the rubble. Left from the scraper that Doomsday monster knocked down. Doomsday? Gotta stop. Doomsday. To be continued in Man of Steel 22, on sale in 2 weeks. First sighting. It's 54 and it's 11:54 in the PM. About time for me to hit the road, because this nightlife ain't no good life, but it's my life. This is the old Jaybird. Be careful out there. News is next. Radio Metropolis, WMET. A beleaguered Commissioner Casey may be ready to throw in the towel. That's the story of the hour. I'm Pat Rhodes, WMET News. Sources in the mayor's office say that Police Commissioner Jack Casey may step down as early as Friday. Casey has taken considerable heat for the recent spike in burglaries and violent crime. Like it's his fault. From today's police blotter, 2 people are dead and 3 injured. Excuse me, sir. Yeah, what do you want? Following a rash of carjackings. I want you out of the car now. Move it. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Hey, damn. You cease firing, huh? Hey, don't go sneaking up on me, man. It ain't safe. Nice cape. Who you supposed to be, Zorro? You would have stolen that man's car. You tried to kill him. That makes you my enemy. Badam, badam, badam. You want an enemy? Okay, tough guy. Pating, pating, patong. No, Superman. It's not. He's dead. I've seen it on TV. Gotta be a trick. Yeah, some schmuck wearing Kevlar. Should have aimed for his head. Whoever he is, I don't want to mess with him. He stood up to 3 slugs. That should have knocked him down. He must be one strong mother. Stop. There's no escape for such as you. You must pay the price for your crimes. Holy Mother of God, running is futile. You cannot evade my power. Oh man, hurts, burns. You can't be Superman. He busts people. He don't toast them. How little you know. I have passed through the fire and the darkness and been changed. I have risen from the dead to continue the never-ending battle. I shall use the power that is mine as Krypton's son to bring justice to this earth, and all who sin shall know the vengeance of Superman. To be continued in Action Comics 687, on sale in 2 weeks. First sighting. 4:17 a.m., shortly after Jonathan Kent regained consciousness. The Cadmus Project, secret government DNA research and cloning center. Scramble, scramble. We've got code red in lab 13. Situation, soldier? Power surge of unknown origin caused an explosion inside, sir. The doors jammed shut. Guardian, what's going on? Westfield, what are you doing up at this hour? That's my business. Right now, yours is making sure nothing happens to Experiment 13. My men will do our best, sir. Silvestri, take out the door gently. No telling who or what is on the other side. Affirmative. Zeekum. Empty? Appearances can be deceiving, McFarland, especially Cadmus. I want your squad to search every inch of this place. Be ready for anything. No, he wasn't ready. Care to fill me in? Or should I guess? It was approved, Guardian, by your boys, Gabriella Johnson, all the rest. It's their fault. All right, their clones at least. Oh, 13 gave me some trouble, started suddenly fighting off the input like a man possessed. Then those newsboys broke him loose. He twisted the steel with his bare hands, and they all disappeared into the air duct. Packard? Don't you understand? The code words, the instructions were never implanted. We absolutely have no control over him. Toom. That dude's some knuckle sandwich you got there, pal. You're the real stuff, all right. Yow. Odd, the grating is virtually undamaged, yet a blow of such amplitude should. This is thrilling, Dash for freedom. Big words. Lay off the science lesson. Westfield and his goons will be after you, you know. Thought this jacket could help, maybe till you get something, some other clothes or something. Yeah, thanks. No problem. I mean, us newsboys kind of belong at the project. But you, well, not like you need it. Good luck, Hey, don't ever call me Superboy. Continued in the Adventures of Superman 501 and sale in 2 weeks. First sighting. Huh? In memory of Superman, killed on this spot while defending Metropolis. Huh? Why did you burn that plaque? You? Yes. I'm back. To be continued in Superman 78. In sale in 2 weeks. All right, Ron. Hope you're asleep. Hope I put you gently to sleep. All right. So we're gonna just read a letter here. I do want to focus on Larry Plona's letter here because I think it again, this is all kind of sort of marketing stuff, but they are from real people, real fans. And the editors do kind of pick the best, most enthusiastic letters. But I want to focus here on this letter here, right here. If you can see my cursor moving around, focusing on this one. Dear team, regarding Adventures of Superman 496. Okay, I'll bite. The Death of Superman, I have to say that I haven't read a regular, quote unquote, regular DC comic in many years. Lately, I've stuck with Green Arrow, Sandman, etc. But for the death of America's greatest fictional character, I'll come back. So now I've read 6 issues of the 4 Superman titles. 4, I thought Batman was supposed to be the commercial character, and I like them. Years of heavy titles like Green Arrow have left me looking for a fun comic, and Superman is a fun comic. Back in 1980, there was a story in issue 352 which involved Destiny preventing Superman from protecting Metropolis in order for the city to preserve its self-sufficiency. I always liked the idea and was reminded of it by Adventures 494. The next issue, 495, was a nice blast from the past as well. Being a big fan of Jack Kirby's work, especially that from the early 70s, I really appreciated the Forever People appearance, and the most recent issue featuring this Mr. Mxyzptlk and a game of logic was most entertaining. Now back to his death. Now back to this Death of Superman thing. You have probably already heard many complaints about the pace. Let me add another. 3 weeks have passed, and all we received is 3 pages, all of which are the same and none of which tell us anything. I suppose the story has been plotted out well in advance and that there is nothing that can be done at this time, but I do hope that we get to the good stuff real soon. I'm looking forward to it. Larry Plona, Wakefield, Massachusetts. By now, if you've continued to follow the storyline, you're probably not worrying about the pace anymore, Larry. Larry represents, and it's curious that they put this one letter in after the death, because obviously it's somebody who's not, it's a letter that doesn't catch us up to. And again, this is an age where letters it wasn't email, it was all letters that were mailed in. Snail mail. I mean, email was around in 95, but most people were still using conventional mail. Not every, Yahoo Mail and Google Mail had not been, I think by 95 it had, but this is 1990, what is it, 1994, I want to say? 93 or no, this is 1993, right? So, we're still in an era where no one's using email. But Larry writes in because he's reading, and they decided to publish this letter because Larry's obviously frustrated with the pacing, but they're at a point now where they're beyond the death, and now they're well into this reign of Superman series. But the reason I want to focus on Larry is because he's an old school guy. Obviously, he's read and collected Bronze Age stuff. He says he hasn't read Superman in a while, or he hasn't kept up with Superman, but he's been a fan of Superman. But it took the death of Superman for him to okay, what's going on here? Let's take a look. And I just feel like he speaks for a lot of fans, whether you're old school or new school. Obviously, the newer collectors, this stuff, this Death of Superman stuff is going to captivate you. And at this time, I was kind of not a newbie collector, but one of the younger collectors. I was in college when this had come out. And it definitely had me. I was just because I love Superman. I wasn't a big fan of the comics, but the character and everything, the mythos around Superman, he definitely was my favorite character. And it's not like I didn't read Superman comics. I just read them from time to time. I didn't collect the Superman comics, let's put it that way. But here, that it all changed. So Larry is kind of like me in the sense that, I've been collecting a lot of X-Men Image stuff up to this point, and some Batman stuff. I had some Superman stuff, but not a lot. And this one had me now like kind of getting the key issues, sort of the ones that were highly sought after by collectors and whatnot. So um, that's kind of what was going on, like just to give you an encapsulated idea of what was happening during this period. And you know um anyway, I just thought that would be like a cool letter to share. um a lot of people were complaining about sort of, okay, when are you going to kill him off and all this, but um you've got just a lot of people kind of engaging and talking about how they like how this is all, how they're doing it, and they can't wait to see the next issue. And you got really people that have invested, right? If you have a guy saying, like, complaining, hey, when are you going to pick up the pace? I'm tired of all this like beating around the bush kind of stuff. It shows like people are reading, they're engaged, they're waiting for something to happen, something to kind of move the story along. So that's kind of where we are. And we're now, again, we built this large audience, right? With the death, you drawn people in, you built this huge audience. And now how are you going to sustain and really satisfy all these people, right? You got these people who are kind of bought in. And now with this, with these four first sightings here, we got Cyborg, Superboy. This is the modern Superboy, by the way. Who doesn't want to be called Superboy? Got Eradicator and, of course, Steel. Okay, so we got just some really cool kind of teaser images here on really, like, just again, one-page panels here, so you just get a really good glimpse. And mind you, this issue in the Polybag edition comes with the card that's going to set up the next four issues across the Superman titles. So just a cool kind of nostalgic flashback there as we read. Hope that kind of covers it. We'll get into the next issue, which is going to be, I think, Action Comics. What is it? 687. I'm going to deep dive into Eradicator. Here we go. All right. So we'll see you in the next one there. For that session of Otaku Reads His Comics. All right. Now, if I'm not going to log off just yet, what's going to happen now is I am going to do a little bit more of the quote unquote organizing, keep or sell pile, kind of, separating the collection again. And I do want to talk about what happened this weekend again. So I put a video out. Hey, good night. What's up? Good night, Ron. Get some good rest, buddy. Thanks for popping in. What I want to emphasize here is turn off this light. What happened this weekend? I want to go over that again and kind of cover what I picked up again. And in just one second, get some tissue. All right. So, all right. Feel free to, man. Let's go over my trade haul from the weekend again. I have a video out and I tell the story there, so you can watch that one. But just for those of you who didn't catch the video, I do want to go over how the events unfolded, and just talk about like how I'm feeling about the trade and what's been going on. As you know, I'm kind of in the process of downsizing the collection. And what I mean by that is my wife and I are looking at the prospect of moving back to Japan. And yeah, just kind of leaving the country and moving back. And it's more of a like an economic issue than it is like anything else. And I'm fine with that. Like I'm ready to just like pick up and go, you know, because I feel like once we land in Japan, we'll be able to just kind of, you know, get the essentials and kind of get all the stuff we need. You know, obviously we want to sell this house, kind of live, I guess, with her family for a little bit while we get up back on our feet. But maybe even rent a place or something. Who knows? But we take our time in planning out what we want to, where we want to live, and you know, picking our new place once we sell this house. And again, we have a good amount of equity built into this current place to where we could buy a nice place. Well, buy a decent sized place out there. Not in Tokyo, but kind of in the where my wife's hometown is. And again, I'm pretty much ready to just go at the drop of a hat. But the thing that's for me personally, I don't know what my wife would consider the thing holding her back. I think for both of us, it's kind of like, will our son have a better life here, or will he have a better life in Japan? And that's sort of like a we have to be like, you know, like we can't see into the future, and we can only do so much like postulating about which system or which cultural values are better for him. But definitely with all that's going on right now politically, it just doesn't feel like, you know, it just doesn't feel like he has a lot to be kind of proud of as a ethnic minority in this country. But yeah, so there's a lot of calculus there obviously involved. But I don't know if she thinks maybe being here for a few years longer versus just taking off the summer. I don't know where her head's at, but we're kind of making preparations to leave once everything's set to do so. You know, a lot of it has to do with like, can we get our cat? Can we fly our cat out this summer? Kind of those kinds of things. Yeah, but the main thing making the move rather difficult for me, I wouldn't say difficult, but it's a it's been weighing on my mind is what to do about the collection. Um, because we could just, I mean, I could just sell a lot of it, like just take it to a comic book shop and just sell it. They'll give me whatever for it, right? I probably won't get fair value or any of that kind of stuff, but we'll get something. It's better than nothing, right? Um, I don't want to do that. The other thing is to like, uh, kind of sell to collectors, like people who on Facebook Marketplace, kind of put books up and say, hey, here's a collection for sale. Um, Kind of deal with the, sort of the collector slash seller people who are looking to add books. There's a lot of people on YouTube too that do this. They kind of buy books in bulk. They go to shows and kind of sell stuff, um, and kind of do it like a job, part-time job or whatever. And that's fine. That's kind of like I guess where a good, it's the next step up, right? So you got local LCS selling to them. Actually, okay. Here are the tiers. It's like selling to half price books, which is the lowest tier because they don't give you jack for books. I'll sell them the stuff that that is not worth much. But all my stuff is at least I feel like I wouldn't bring into my collection unless I thought it was worth something. But that's the lowest tier. Next tier is LCS, right? Selling at a local comic book store. The next tier is like Facebook Marketplace, some offhand buyer. That includes like social media type stuff, like people in within the region, maybe selling individual issues on social on face or Instagram and stuff like that through posts. Um, that's really sort of the other ideal option. Um, and then, you know, the other one is just to kind of get everything kind of in bulk and, you know, trade it for like, yeah, rather than selling it, trading it. That's another option. Because we don't necessarily need the cash. Really is about getting like fair value for the books. So if I can get like a big book and just get rid of the space, the physical, you know, uh, volume of the collection, that would be also a pretty ideal way to kind of get achieve what I want to achieve. And that's what we did this weekend. As you know, Otaku Weekly on Friday, I kind of just showed off a bunch of books. We were doing like keep or sell, and kind of doing the whole does it spark joy, and then if it does, we put it in our keep pile, and if it doesn't, we put it in our to sell pile or to you know uh, sell or trade pile. And I'd done that. I had a good banker's box full of books now. And then I also had back here, I had like a milk crate full of books, right? There's about a short box of books here. So up comes Saturday, and I go to Half Price Books just out of habit. It's not there. I'm not there to buy anything. Just there to kind of hunt, because obviously, there's a possibility of running into um like a Miles first appearance Miles Morales for half a cover, like $1 or $2, right? There's always that possibility. And that's kind of why we go to high price books. I oftentimes go to high price books and I don't buy anything. I'm just there to see what's cycled in and cycled out. Anyway, I'm there. There's a nice uh, gentleman there. He's smiling. Oftentimes when you run into like people at half price books digging through the books, they're just weird, kind of like weird people. They're kind of intense. I guess I would put myself in that category. It's not like I'm smiling and being friendly. It's like I'm digging. There's one dude who comes around. I've seen him maybe 6 or 7 different times, both at this Bellevue location, the Redmond location. And the dude, I see him at Jeff's from time to time. So he's one of those guys, I don't know what he does. I know he's just getting a bunch of books and probably reselling or doing something, right? Or he's maybe working for somebody, right? I don't know. But the guy is just not friendly. I don't know if he sees me as like his competition or what, but that guy doesn't talk, or he's just very off, off standoffish. But yeah, I go in Saturday, and again, guy there digging, and he just smiles and says, "Hey, you want to switch sides and all that." And uh, I thought, hey, this is a cool guy. So I just start up a conversation with him. I say, "Hey, what are you looking for?" And he kind of is like, "Well, I just got back into collecting." Or sorry, he's like, "I'm just starting to collect." He's never collected comic books before. He was more like a video game. He's into collecting video games and stuff like that. But for some reason, I think it was one of his friends or something, or he saw a video, he wanted to start getting into comic books. And another reason for that was he had just inherited a pressing machine, a t-shirt pressing machine. And I guess he was like, what I really want to do is I want to find some, kind of like press-worthy books that I could buy cheap, right? Some high-grade press-worthy books I could buy cheap, press them, improve their grade, and then send them to CGC to get slabbed, and hopefully sell that and make a profit. And at the same time, kind of build out a collection while doing this, right? Just kind of buy a bunch of books and build out a collection and see what he can find and secure and all that. And he was asking about where he should be going in terms of like local comic book shops. And so I gave him, I'm just going to call him by his name, Jay. Let's just call him Jay. And Jay, again, new to collecting. And he says he likes like Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee. He has a Jim Lee shirt on. X-Men 11, Jim Lee's final cover on X-Men. Classic cover. He has that shirt on. And so he had it covered, but he's like Superman, he kind of like unbuttons his shirt and he shows me the Jim Lee. He's like, "I'm into this kind of stuff." And I'm like, "Oh man, yeah, me too." And so we hit it off. He asked me what I liked, and I said, Superman. And he's like, "Yeah, I haven't seen the movie yet." And we started talking about like, like movies and stuff as well. But then we started talking about, because he's like, "Hey, there's a lot of good Superman books in the case." I already knew this. I was like, yeah, I already know. Um, in fact, I the thing is, I don't have much money, so I never can get stuff out of the case. And he's like, oh, and I'm like, usually I look for like dollar books and see, if there's any, diamonds in the rough kind of thing. And he's like, yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing too. Um, but he's like, hey, what would you recommend I get out of that case? What's you think is like fairly valued that condition wise I could probably improve and do the whole slabbing thing? And of course, my mind immediately went to helping this guy out. I was like, you know what? I'm going to help you and let's get into the case. So the lady came, she unlocked the case, we kind of dug through stuff, and I picked out two books. The two books that I said, these are two big books. They're fairly I would say they're underpriced given the condition and everything. It looks like half price books did really just kind of like take the book and like, I probably command this value. Let's cut that in half. And that's what kind of the pricing they went with. Because you really have a high grade book at a mid grade price for one, and you had a mid grade book at a low grade price for another. And again, he and I went over the values and book values and said, see, like it's a pretty good, and we went over the condition and kind of poured over the book. And then he's like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to get these. And he took the two books and he put them at the counter to purchase. And yeah, I was glad to have to help him out. But then, part of me was like, man, I would have loved to have gotten those books at some point. If I had like my summer budget, like $200, I probably would have. Who knows? Uh, who knows if I would have actually got the books? Um, I might have like researched and done stuff online. Um, but yeah, for that price, I don't think I could have. I think at some point, once I did all my due diligence and stuff and realized, you know what, the half price books are the best deals on those two particular books. Probably would have gotten them. Probably would have prioritized to get them. But yeah, obviously he took them and he was going to buy them, and so that to me was like, well, there goes that. It's like there ends that chapter of what was in the case and all that. So I was kind of like kind of bummed internally, but at the same time I was happy for the guy who bought him. I was like, man, he's hopefully he presses them out and gets the grades, um, and that'll be cool. And then I thought, yeah, you know what? I should really, I am curious to know what these grades come back as. So I found him in the store again, and I said, hey, dude, I want to stay in touch with you if you don't mind. All I want to do is like, if you are going to submit these books when they come back from CGC, I just want to know what the grades are. So do you mind if we exchange numbers and all that? And he's like, yeah. So we, again, exchanged numbers. And I just felt like he was somebody that at the end of the day, I could just talk comic books with locally and maybe head to the LCS and just kind of hang out with, right? Younger, well, he's a little younger, but not that much younger. And he's obviously getting into comic books, so I could kind of help him out with, what kind of books to target, what is priced fairly, what isn't, and all that. But yeah, and then we parted ways. And then later that afternoon, I thought, I wonder if he'd be because we talked about some other books, and he had mentioned he wanted to own the Wolverine Volume 2, number 1 someday. He also mentioned he wanted to get more Todd McFarlane books, like Spider-Man books and all that. And I just thought, you know what? Because he didn't seem like he was really into the 2 books that he bought. He was more, it was more about, like, I think potentially doing a press and CGC submission so that he could sell them, make money back, and continue pursuing like other books and stuff. I think that was kind of his mindset. Like, I'm going to get these books as investments, and turn them around. And, that's a lot of work, to be honest. But, it would produce, I think, a good results, because we both looked at it, and he was looking at the graded pricing, and he did the math, right? He's like, with the slabbing fees and the purchase price, if he got a specific grade, he'd make X amount in net profit if he was able to sell it at book price, right? And so, but that's a lot of work right there. But that was his intention. And anyway, I thought, you know what, I wonder if he'd be willing to trade, because again, I'm in the mindset of, like, I'm ready to offload a bunch of books, like offload a lot of books for just like 2 books. That's really kind of like where my downsizing goals, my head has been. And I was kind of like, you know what, let's just propose something, because I'm really willing to give him way more than what he is expecting back. Like, I want him to, like, outline what he expects back, and I'm willing to just throw, like, again, I had a short box full of books that I was trying to sell anyway, so I just wanted to kind of throw that in there to sweeten the deal. And so I texted him and I said, hey, look, I really want those 2 books, and I'd be willing to trade you, the Wolverine one, trade you a bunch of McFarlane books, and the stuff you like. Really give you a lot of value, more value than it, like, over trade, in terms of the trade value, give you more value for those 2 books. If you're open to that. And he said, yeah, what do you have? And so he was open to it. He's like, yeah, what do you have? And I sent him a bunch of shots of my, like, Todd McFarlane Amazing Spider-Man issues that if you go back to watch last Friday's video, I just kind of, like, these are the books I don't want. Like, I pretty much put all the McFarlane stuff in the box to sell or trade, along with my Jim Lee doubles. I kind of sent him stuff like that. And then I also said, hey, I've got AS 100. It's a low grade, but it presents really well. He really liked that book. Kind of got the sense he kind of likes, like, X-Men, Spider-Man, Marvel stuff. He's not into DC as much. And so he's like, after we, like, communicated kind of like what he wants, what he's looking for, and, like, what I'm willing to offer him, he's like, you know what, we can work out the details, but let's meet up tomorrow, because I'm going to be back in that area, and I'd like to trade the books that you want to take a look at what you have, and see if we can work something out. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm definitely open to meeting you tomorrow. So we meet up again. It's raining. Yesterday it was raining quite heavily. But we met at Half Price Books in the parking lot. Then we kind of drove to another section where there was like an awning and a covering. Although we didn't really need it. It wasn't, by the time we had gotten there, kind of tapered off. And we were sitting there, he was just digging, he was in my car, kind of digging through the box. And I already said, hey, no matter what happens here, whether we trade or not, this Jim Lee, I give him my X-Men 1 sort of mid 90s signature Jim Lee book. That one had a little bit of an issue when it was packaged and sent. So that always like was a book that like, it's a good book. It's a signature Jim Lee book, but what's up, Ron? Yeah. I'm sure you have all this good stuff, man. I really want to just like maybe go on live with you, and then you can just show and tell with me like there. Um, but you're down in Texas, correct? Oklahoma, is it? Texas, I think you said. I don't know how am I going to get my books to you though. That's except like if it's like, you know what, if we were ever to trade, it would be just a lot of books to ship to you. I would think. Oklahoma, yeah. But yeah, anyway, so I said this Jim Lee signed book is yours no matter what happens, and he's like, oh, thanks. And he had brought a stack of modern books, nothing that I was wanting. I just wanted the two books that we pulled out. And again, he started looking through my stuff, and he was like, I pretty much was like, hey, look, just pick out what you think is fair, and I'm going to throw in as much of this stuff as I can. And he's like, oh, no, that's, you don't need to do that. And I'm like, no, I want to, I like, don't worry about it. I just want to sweeten the deal, make sure you have no regrets about giving up these books. And he's like, oh, no, that's fine. And again, he picked out kind of what he wanted, and we divvied up he's like, what are you looking for in terms of trade value? And I said, 350 to 400, I think is fair for these two books. And he's like, yeah, I think that's fair. Because he only paid like what? He paid 150 for both books, cash. So I was literally giving him like double plus 50 to 100 more dollars in terms of trade value. And he was fine with that. He's like, yeah, okay, let's do this. And so he was picking out books. Again, the ones he expressed interest in, he kind of took all those ones. We threw in like Venom Lethal Protector, Alpha Flight issue number 1, the first Jubilee book. And again, just, I offered him the crypto cover book. He didn't want it. And he's like, no, I don't. Again, yeah, he didn't like Superman stuff. So he's like, I don't really need the crypto cover. But he took all these Marvel books. And then he's like, I'm fine with these. You don't have to throw in anything else. And I was like, no, look, let me just pull a couple more books out, and you can have the rest of this stuff. We were in my car. He was in the back seat. I was in the front seat. And we're just kind of like digging through books. Yeah. It felt very kind of like clandestine, like a drug deal was going down. No, it was cool. So Jay's like, again, Jay's a great guy. And he's like, he said to me, look, these two books obviously mean a lot more to you than they do to me. So I'm happy to trade them to you. And again, you're being very generous in terms of giving me all this value. I really don't need additional books. But I was like, look, I'm in the process of downsizing, so I just want to give you the books. And if you're fine with taking, we got your trade value, but if you're fine with taking, about 100 more books home, you're free. You're welcome to do that. And he was just like, oh, thank you, thank you. And so again, he got a lot of value out of the trade, I feel like. And it gives him something to do. Again, he's got the pressing machine. He's like, I need to kind of practice my pressing techniques. He's got a lot of 90s, goodness there. A lot of books that would really improve with the press. Probably not worth a lot, right? But he can practice on those. Like Volume 2, Spider-Man, bunch of McFarlane covers there. Um, Volume 2, X-Men stuff, some Uncanny Jim Lee X-Men stuff in there. A lot of Jim Lee stuff. A lot of my Jim Lee doubles are in there. And again, just some minor keys and whatnot. And we shook on it, and he drove away with my books. I drove away with his books, and I just wanted to again go over what we picked up from him, because this is just I've done a lot of haul videos and talked a lot about how I pick up books and how I hunt and my whole philosophy and all that. And I've done community trades as well. Community trades usually end up being where we both pick up something we both want, right? It's usually I give, and they're equivalent trades. Like oftentimes I'll give away maybe 5 books for 12 books. It's been vice versa too. I've given it away like 15 books for like 4 books or 5 books. And the trade really comes down to, now I understand this better. It comes down to what kind of collector they are, where they are in their collecting stage. Because I feel like if you're a new collector, you're open to just collecting whatever you like, right? Kind of like collecting, I want to collect Thor, Hulk, Iron Man, and I don't know, Lady Death, something like that, right? Just a random mix of stuff you just kind of pick up here and there that you like. But then as it grows and you realize, oh shoot, I got to focus because I want to finish a run, or maybe, I don't know, maybe you're a completionist, maybe you're just collecting keys, maybe you're just a 9/8, like a grade snob, and you're just trying to pick up high grade stuff. No matter what kind of collector you are, at some point you kind of fine tune that and become more focused, because if you don't, you end up just picking just a random wild collection that just grows and grows, and you become a hoarder essentially. So I like that Jay was focused. Well, first of all, I think I helped with the focus because it was pretty specific what I was giving him, right? I was giving him really like classic stuff. Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, incredible cover art there. That's just like, Hall of Fame Marvel cover art there at the peak of the comic book boom. I also gave him, some big keys, Wolverine 1, ASM 100. These are like just generally accepted as like top keys from those collecting eras. So he's got a lot there to kind of start off a good collection, because again, he's just getting into stuff. And I just felt like the volume for him, rather than having 2 issues, the volume for him was better for him in his current situation. And the opposite is true for me. Like I had amassed all these books, and now I was just like ready to part with them or just get rid of them and downsize. And now the 2 books I got in exchange for that, for all of those books, really made sense for me. And again, we both walked away happy. He kept asking me, hey, are you sure about this? I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. So, we obviously don't feel like we took advantage of one another. And again, he got what he wanted and I got what I wanted. So that's the most important thing about a trade. And I think when you're in a trade negotiation with somebody, you kind of have to understand what their purpose is. Because if you're both just trying to get rid of, if you're both trying to create space and you're trying to get rid of books, that's not a good conversation, right? You're just like, here's 100 books for your 100 books. No, that's not how it can work. I think the best situation to put yourself in is like a situation where Jay and myself were. Like, he obviously was open to getting as many books as he could, and value for those books. And I was, again, wanting to downsize and willing to give up volume for quality. And that's where we landed. So I'm just going to really quickly show off what we picked up. I have them in top loaders now. And they're big books. I mean, hopefully you can also get a sense of the grade. Let's look at this one first. DC Comics presents number 26. This is the preview. It's a preview / first appearance of the new Teen Titans. You know, you've got sort of a new look for the team. You've got characters like Raven. The mystery, it starts with the mystery around her, right? Well, why is she here? What is she doing? Teen Titans have been disbanded at this point, but they kind of come together under that mantle again. Raven kind of brings them together. There's a new character, there are new characters like Cyborg and Starfire. And that's really what this kind of preview edition does. It introduces the new team, which continues on in issue 1, which is again a George Perez Marv Wolfman classic. So yeah, this is a this is a big book, and you know, it's a really nice copy that we have here. As you can see, no real big issues. I'd put in the 8.5 because you got a little bit of a staple, like staple stress right there. Breaks color there, you can see. So, you know, that's a pretty big issue. Corners are pretty sharp still. It's a great looking book. You know, obviously there's some indentations here. I don't know if you could see them through the bag and all that. Maybe right there. You can see it right there. There's some indentations there, but nothing, again, nothing that's not pressable. And yeah, I feel like worst it could get would be maybe a 7.5. The best it could get would probably be like a 9.2, maybe a 9.0, 9.2. But in all likelihood, it would probably fall in my humble opinion in the 8.5 category, given just where, you know, the age of this book. It's not a terribly old book. It's not a new book either, but we got this awful Jim Starlin cover art though. I'm not liking this cover. It's not a great cover, but its contents are what make it a key book. So yeah, that was our first book in this trade. And then of course this is really the book. And I want to, the big issue there is it's got a little bit of it's got a couple issues. It's got the corner piece, it's like really minute, but I had to kind of glue it. It had unfurled. There a little bit of like a, I guess, what do you call it? Tear, just like a corner. Maybe it's a cutting or printing manufacturing error, but a little sliver was kind of unfurled up. So I unfurled it and kind of glued it down. And it does kind of create like a, not that it's a ragged corner, but you can see it right there. Right? It creates some little bit of a offsetting like visual there. Here's this corner. It's kind of rounded. Got this corner here, a little better. This corner is not too bad. But the book is just glossy. It's supple. Pages are great quality. I mean, it's a really nice, and look at the spine here. That are really clean spine for a Silver Age book. I mean, it's really clean. You can tell this was like owned. And the other thing is it has the Superman pinup. There's a there's a full panel pinup in here, double page pinup in the middle of the book, and oftentimes it's missing out of the book because kids just rip it out and put it on their wall. But this one has that intact. So this is obviously, I think, owned by a collector. In fact, all the books in the case, you could tell, like just a Superman collector. Maybe he had passed away, and his family just decided to dump the valuable Superman collection. Again, a lot of adventure comics, a lot of Superboy, a lot of action and Superman in that case. A lot of value there. But a lot of it, some of it's high grade, some of it's mid grade, some of it's low grade. It's all in different grades. But again, these two were in really, really great shape. And I would imagine that it was from the same collection. Just all those Superman books there in the case just told me somebody like myself had just maybe just sold, or maybe somebody like myself had passed away and their family just came in just to get what they could for the books. I don't know what caused the sale, but they were there. There's another issue with the book here, and it's again minute. It's there's a little bit of a piece missing there. You can see right there. There's a little chunk missing from the book. Right there, you can see it. Other than that, it's obviously needs some TLC, nice clean. And Roger would make this look absolutely gorgeous looking. It was a book we would definitely maybe send to him. But yeah, it's again wonderful condition book, and just really happy to have it in my collection. Again, with those issues, I'd put this in, I think, conservatively speaking, like a 6.5. But kind of optimistically speaking, I think, yeah, maybe a 7.5 could be in order, right? Even with that little, they're really minute, issues. And again, that's not necessarily anything to do with handling. It's just maybe going to come from a lot of different sources, like a manufacturing type error. Obviously, this had maybe some cutting issues during the time. So, again, given the grade, I think you'd probably get a very, depending on the grader, of course, but generally the older books get a little bit of a pass with some of these minute infractions there. So, yeah, those are the two big adds to the collection. And man, I can't, I'm just, again, going back to really what the books are great. The books are great. But more than the books, it was this the Umyong aspect of it. The fact that I was at Half Price Books, the fact that I met this guy we'd never met before, just completely random encounter. And had we not, had I not said, sparked a conversation with him initially, none of this would have happened, right? None of this would have taken place. It all started with like him being friendly, like just smiling and friendly, and then me saying, "Hey, kind of returning the gesture by asking him, what are you looking for? What are you into?" That's how kind of how things got started with me and Josh, like G Lantern Comics, and when he gifted me books, it all started with just a conversation and um, getting to know one another through like messages and stuff like that, and eventually meeting up and like trading books and having lunch together. Uh, these kinds of like unmyeong moments, they're destined kind of fated, destined kind of encounters um, have been a real, I want to say, the most memorable parts of the collecting journey. Now, I'm entering a phase of the collecting journey where I feel like I'm kind of receding, taking a step back. It has nothing to do with, I still love comic books. If it were up to me, if I had just all the money in the world, if it were up to me, um, I'd be doing this on a weekly basis, just scouring the shops, hunting books. I'd actually, if I had all the money in the world, I would move to like the East Coast, right? Plot myself somewhere, maybe in New Jersey or somewhere where there's just a gajillion comic book shops, right? Uh, the majority of the collecting volume and collecting valued items are out there. Just being in the middle of that and being able to just hunt and dig to my heart's content in my retirement with all the funds and all that. That would just be a fun way to like, just spend time. And again, of course, that give me the bandwidth to just complete, you know, some of the runs and collect more of the Jim Lee books, all the artists that I collect. Just be a good way to just like really go all out in terms of building my collection the way I kind of want to see it, or the way I did envision it, right? Just a lot of like just a whole catalog worth of books. But now I've really come to the realization that that's not my destiny. Like that particular vision that, for having endless resources, endless amount of time, and endless amount of space to just endlessly go on picking up books for the rest of time. That part of me is faced reality, let's just say. And what's gotten me to really realize that is the prospect of having to just pick up and go. And again, with picking up and going, we obviously have way more than we could take with us. Um, so now comes the hard part of really downsizing, um, really having to part with things I really want to keep, but I almost just have to, cut the cord. Like, as painful as it is, hopefully find a better home for it. Or um, I've even wrestled with the thought, because again, I have a local friend here. If I were to ask him, hey, could you keep a couple boxes of comic books here? I'll be back to pick them up. Um, I mean, he would do that for me. And so I have that sort of backup plan in case I can't sell everything and I do have to, like, if I don't get a good price or whatever on the books, I don't want to just sell them because out of the necessity to sell them, I'd rather store them somewhere and then eventually, like on a return trip to the US, pick those books back up and take them back to Japan, right? So um, I just have a lot of potential ways we could go about this, but without a doubt, I have to start downsizing now, right? Uh, Again, I have about 2,000 books. Just got rid of, I want to say about 120 of them, maybe 150 of them this weekend, which is good, making progress. Um, at least 100 books. I want to say there's like 110 to maybe 120 books in there, not quite 150. But then again, I didn't count, so it could be, some of them are double bagged and boarded. So maybe we did. I got to actually do an inventory like thing, which is a headache. I'll just do it when I'm just going to downsize and then redo the inventory when it's more manageable. I think that's the easier way to do it. But we got rid of some books. We still got a long ways to go, but we made some progress. Again, progress where I didn't think, my wife and I both thought, man, you're never going to get rid of these books. I'm just like, no, we will. But again, with these nice pickups, I feel like, it's motivating me to, like, okay, let's really kind of be focused about making sure my books just don't end up in trash and we get something for them. All right, so what I'm going to do now is we're going to do a nice little session here of keep or sell, right? Keep or sell. And you know how this goes. Just going to show off a lot of books and we'll go from there. So before I get started, what you don't see behind me or right here down below is one of my overflow boxes. Everything in there is pretty much, I've already vetted it. So a lot of this stuff in here is already kind of like in the sell pile. But we're going to go through it again because you never know. When I look at stuff through a new lens, sometimes I want to keep it. Sometimes I want to, or it reaffirms, yeah, I don't need this book and I want to get rid of it. So we're just going to kind of go through it. It's a fun little activity that we do. We got time. We get one of these short boxes out here. All right. And yeah, some of these I already went over in terms of seller keep. And so some of these are already in the sell pile. In fact, all of these are in the sell pile. Yeah, all of these are in the sell pile. Just looking through them again. Oh, he didn't take this book. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, pretty much everything in here is at our sell pile. So This is kind of on the precipice of, I do want to sell it. I feel like it's a real I got this as a uh, giveaway prize from X Comics, and it's fine. It's really a beat up book, but it is the first appearance of Metamorpho. It's a big book. And again, this is a book that Jay didn't want to take, which is fine. I can understand why he didn't want to take it. He probably saw this, all the damage and stuff here, and didn't really see this as a investment grade book, and it isn't. I think ultimately where I'd put the value of this book is like $20. I'd put this at $20 book, even in its condition. But that will go in our sell pile. All right. And I think a lot of these books we've already done, which is really cool. I've pretty much taken a lot of this is all keep stuff, except this. Well, all right. I don't think we've covered this one yet. We've got Venomized Wolverine, and we've got this cool Mark Silvestri cover. It's a crossover of Top Cow and Marvel, Hulk, and a pregnant Witchblade. Or no, what? This is not Witchblade. Oh, it is Witchblade, yeah. She's pregnant, and kind of want to keep these two. Yeah, kind of want to keep these two for now. There's another pile. Keep scrolling. All right. The rest of this stuff is pretty much, this is all keep stuff too. I think a lot of this is keeping. So I'll just put it off here. All right. So now we got to get into the doubles here. These are all sell or trade. These are doubles, so I don't know why I bought so many of these. This is one. This is an interesting one, and I have to come to terms with what to do about stuff like this. And I've made a decision. I've kind of made a decision. I love Artgerm stuff. I mean, this is a great example of why Artgerm, like good girl cover art is so attractive. It's really what's sustaining and fueling, I feel like, the modern collections, these variant covers. It's what people collect these days. They really attach themselves to a series of artists or characters, and anytime you have these artists put out anything, it's like you gotta kind of get it right. It's like gotta catch them all kind of mentality. And then again, this Jean Grey is just such a spectacular piece here. So, you know, obviously, like the desire to keep this is there, but I have a, you know, not to say I have a lot of Artgerm stuff, but I feel like with artists like Artgerm, I really just have to come to terms with like, I'm not going to collect them. And as great as this cover is, it's not compelling enough to keep as, you know, it's like, it's not like a must keep in my collection. So unfortunately, this will migrate into the sell pile. Ren and Stimpy. This will, this is a nostalgic buy, but I feel like the generation that watched Ren and Stimpy, like grew up on Ren and Stimpy, they don't value this. Maybe you have a subset of fans that value stuff like this, but I just feel like you've got the new kid on the block, SpongeBob, and SpongeBob is a way more, I want to say, better execution of this kind of humorous stuff, right? Like fart humor, you know, cartoon type stuff. And Ren and Stimpy is kind of like it. It was more for adults, I want to say, than kids, right? So it kind of had this weird, like, traumatizing and promoting violence and stuff to kids, but it was still okay to do so. Now it's not, and so you know, you obviously just have a bunch of neglected, traumatized kids that watch Ren and Stimpy, and who knows if they want to collect anything in their adult state. So all of this is trade stuff. I left a lot of this stuff out for Jay because just I don't know. I feel like giving him a bunch of Gen 13 stuff is just not him. He's not the generation that collected or remembers the stuff. It's got to be like kind of an old school collector who would truly appreciate like the rave Gen 13 rave cover, right? This is just as about as 90s as a thing can get. And then you've got, you know, real clean copies of the books we're going to end up reading next week. Action 687, there we go. So all this stuff is sell stuff. And, yeah. Continuing to count down. We got more sell stuff here. We got Jim Lee X Factor. Fantastic Four. This is a great. I showed this off a couple weeks ago, part of our top 10. No, I didn't. I showed off another cover, but this was one I would have shown off because of the Thing and Black Panther being there together. Here's a great Thing cover. Jim Lee's Thing cover. We got Wonder Woman, Superman. These are all doubles. Frank Cho, Wonder Woman. Mark Silvestri, Batman and Joker duo. We got more Mark Silvestri. Mark Silvestri is an artist who used to be in my top 10, and he's kind of fallen out of the top 10. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that when he became a suit, I should say, when he became like an executive, he obviously did a lot of stuff in the initial Image days. But then he recruited really a lot of talented artists, and he kind of put out less. I mean, I know he's doing stuff now, to, even to today, but the the frequency and the quality, and I just feel like the overall, like he's doing covers, he's really doing like interiors and stuff. And when he is doing interiors, I just feel like he's just kind of lost the that youthful edge that you would see in a book like this, right? Like Cyberforce. I mean, we got Cyberforce when I was collecting because of Mark Silvestri art specifically. And man, he did not disappoint. You would draw some of the most incredible um, interior comic books. But yeah, I just feel like he hasn't done enough to really cement him as like somebody I just feel like there's not a lot of interest or value around his books as maybe other artists from his era and period. So we still like him. He's still in our second, like he's no longer primary, but he's in our secondary tier of favorite artists. It's just, it's not gonna end up being in the top tier anymore. Um yeah, I've really cooled off on the X-Men stuff too, so I am keeping this though. I just love this Angela series. And Greg Capullo does an incredible job. Um, I mean, if you haven't read this, you really should. It's a fun read, and I've got the entire set here in high grade, so I'm gonna keep that. This is like, yeah, this is just like I love reading this as a back when it came out, and this is another book that I want to keep. It's just been in my collection. The entire it's the entire run of Daredevil, The Man Without Fear. And these books aren't worth anything. So what's the point of selling books you just are nostalgic and love, right? You can fit them somewhere. Why not keep them in the collection? And that's kind of what we have here. These are just like books from my original collection that actually Angela 1 is original, but these other ones I picked up along the way when I got back in. But again, I read the entire run when I was collecting. So all these books here though are, I mean, these ones are literally my original collection. As you can see, they're still in great condition, even though I read them. I read them quite often. Those are keepers. We got so these are going into the sell pile. What I need to start doing is doing the opposite. Put sell pile books in here. Put the keeper books in here. And sell pile books in here. go. Works. Put as much stuff in there as possible. Since got moved around here. Sorry for the dead air. You're used to this by now. All right. There we go. Okay, so where's some of our keep stuff here? I'm gonna put these. Put these back in our keep pile. These in the sell pile. And I think we're good. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Stuff. All right. Cloak and Dagger. Oh man. Got a nice Rick Leonardi cover here. Terry Austin, Rick Leonardi. First issue of their solo series, Cloak and Dagger. I think this is the first issue of their ongoing series. They did have like a mini series, which I think is the higher priced book. But Cloak and Dagger, I know Marvel's been wanting to kind of think when the dust settles, you'll see Cloak and Dagger as part of the integrated Marvel. And they'll get around to them at some point, but we're not going to wait around for that. So this is obviously a book that will sell. This is another one of my original books. Oh, man, it's a glow-in-the-dark cover, which is kind of cool. It is really nice condition. I kind of want to put it in the keep pile for now. We've got some great Thor books here. Got Keith Pollard. That's his name. I couldn't think of his name last time. Got Keith Pollard and some really classic, really classic Walt Simonson art here. Do I want to keep this or sell it? Got a bunch of like demon Spud McKenzie's attacking Thor here. Classic Walt Simonson rendition of Thor. Oh man. We will sell it. Sell it. All right, we got Dark Tower. This one I kind of want to sell. No, I'm keeping it. I like Jay Lee. That's Jay Lee's coming out party. You realize it's his first real, where he's doing the artwork and everything. Dazzler #1. Pick this up for $1. And this is Bill Sienkiewicz. Oh no, what is Bob Layton? This is Bob Layton cover here. Dazzler 1 in roller skates. Look at that. I don't want to keep that. Look at that. Iron Man and Spider-Man Marvel team up. I figure this is the kind of stuff that I can like kind of put on Facebook just to generate interest. Like have a collector be like, oh, I want to pick that up. So for now, I'm going to put it in the sell pile. Reluctantly put it in the sell pile. This is my original 90s books of that, so I want to keep that. Kind of want to keep this Kelly cover. Those Daredevils there. We're keeping our Alex Bustos original art covers here. We'll keep those. And here are some interesting ones here. And I think I'm going to have to... This yearbook, I love this G.I. Joe yearbook. This was, I think, in the... This was year 2. Yeah, this is number 2. This was year 2 into G.I. Joe and kind of really peak G.I. Joe stuff. I mean, you got Snake Eyes and his, ninjutsu the visor costume there. He's got Timber at his side. This is a story about them teaming up with the Russian G.I. Joe team. And I think they're called Red October, right? Yeah, they team up with the Russian equivalent of G.I. Joe, which is like cold, it's such a Cold War, but the fact that they're kind of on the same side, fighting for freedom against Cobra and all that, it's just a weird dynamic because you're like at the height of the Cold War, but you got the Russians and get the Russian G.I. Joes and the American G.I. Joes kind of teaming up. And I love this comic book. This also kind of summarized a lot of the stuff in the comic books. It's kind of a summary of some of the highlighted stories. So you have the origin of Snake Eyes and origin of Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, their backstory in here as well. So I love this issue. So we are going to keep this issue for sure. This is not going anywhere. And what we'll do is we are going to get rid of this Darth Vader book, though. And put the Darth Vader book. Let's see here. You know what? Let's put the reprints in here. Darth Vader book. Yeah, let's put the Darth Vader book in here. I'm just going to put the Darth Vader book down for a minute. We are selling the Darth Vader book. Don't worry, I'm not keeping that one. I have no love for the Jedi. I should say in Lando Calrissian voice. They got no love for the Jedi. Who knows? They got no love for the Empire. I've soon secured a deal that will make the Empire. What's the line? I forget the movie line. All right, now this next book, it's a weird one because I do love what's going on here. The bag's puffing up on me. So I do love this because this is my era. This came out during my era of collecting as the reprints, the Marvel Milestone Edition, and they reprinted all the classic ones from this, all the Marvel classics like Giant Size, X-Men 1. And normally I would just keep this in my collection, but I've really come to a point where like I have a lot of X-Men books, and outside of a few real nostalgic ones, like I don't want to necessarily have an X-Men collection. But where it gets like kind of, I don't know, I just feel like I'm never going to own this book, right? Never going to own this book. But this is as close as I'll get to owning these really two classic issues. And I just feel like this one over time, it's a nice book. These are nice reprint books. Just they're good to keep as a reader. You got the great cover art there. It really is like just like having the comic book just to read the original way it's supposed to be read. So we'll keep this. I just think I talked myself into keeping it. So put in the keep pile for now. V, this is I love this series. It's number 1. Yeah, I just grew up loving this series. But from a comic book collecting standpoint, these two books aren't really necessary. So we'll keep the G.I. Joe. We'll keep the reprint stuff for now. And other stuff goes into the second pile. I have to keep reminding myself. The collection is about a couple of things. Part of it is nostalgia. It's about stuff like this, right? It's about the nostalgia part. And the other part of it is the kind of the long-term investment value of some of these books. And I just realized, the stuff in my collecting era not really worth much. So even though I'm nostalgic about it, at the end of the day, these books, they're not worth much, and they'll be worth even less in Japan. So what's the point of taking a bunch of worthless books with me to Japan, right? Kind of where my headspace is right now. That's another interesting way to look at what I keep versus what I sell, right? So, and again, I'm just, as I always do, I'm just thinking out loud, and coming to terms with the collection. Means here. All right, we got more books. Don't worry. This is a reprint of Jack Kirby's classic cover here, Thor, on a king size special. I just like the king size Thor, right? King size special Thor. This is just a classic cover. I love it. So for now, this one too, the giant size Conan, like, of course he's giant size. What are they referring to? Giant size Conan the Barbarian. That stuff like that is cool. You always want to collect giant size stuff. So that we'll keep for now. This is where we run into a little bit of a conundrum here. I do want to sell this kind of as a set. So not make it part of the overall collection. And let's just go through this stuff here because this is causing a little bit of. So we've got a lot of Alex Ross stuff here. Okay. That we do want to sell. I want to sell this one. I want to sell this one. We got to kind of. The ironic thing about this is I just gave Jay like issue 0 and I think issue 1 of this series, which probably wasn't smart on my part if I'm going to sell this as a set. I think I do have most of the set here. But it is what it is. I'm not going to dwell on that, but we got books like this. We got books like this and this. This one, man, that's just a beautiful Alex Ross Green Lantern cover. It's not worth anything, but I'm going to keep it. I like keeping stuff like that. Just classic cover art like this, you know, like this Black Adam, this Shazam, that's gonna stay with us. I think there's a Power Girl in here too, maybe if I'm wrong. Yeah, there's a Power Girl in there. She's staying with us. So yeah, we'll keep stuff like this. Now, again, this is just an initial like inventory stuff, so there's no guarantee that this stuff will stay in the collection. But here's another great one: the Justice run by Ross. We got the heroes, the Justice League heroes versus the Legion of Doom. That is a keeper right there. But all this other stuff, this Alex Ross stuff, I think we're fine to sell it. Yeah, we're fine to sell it. So if you're interested in the Alex Ross stuff, got a nice little 6 books. Is it 6 books? Yeah, a little 6-book collection of Alex Ross stuff. If you're interested, let me know. Do this here. Let's keep it going, keep it rolling here. Okay, we've got some Wolverine issues. These are all. I did give a few of the early issues in the run to Jay, like issues 5 and issues 3, I think. But we got more. Some of the Mark Silvestri stuff here. That's a cool cover. This is a nice cover here, Houston. That's super nice. This is a key issue, the die cut cover there. That's a nice one. Got 2 copies of this and a 3rd copy and a 4th copy. Geez, how many copies do we pick up? This is one of those things where like we see it in the wild, I guess we buy it. Oh man, these are really cool books though. You got the holograph there. Oh man. I guess I'll keep two of them. Oh no, this is what, yeah, this is, I'll keep this one. This is the two issues there. So we'll keep that. That was an easy decision. Yeah. Oh man, look at this Mystique. And what's her name again? Get her name. It's like Silver something. Forget her name. Got Mojo. There's a lot of great Wolverine stuff here. I'm a big Wolverine fan. Got another copy of this one, Fatal Attractions. These are high grade copies, by the way. So there's just a lot of copies out there. I know they book at like $10 or $15 or something like that, but absolute must-haves if you're a 90s collector. Me. So keep those on your radar if they're out there, if you're out hunting. All right, we've got a signed Greg LaRocque Spider-Man Web of Spider-Man #2. That is what we'll keep. We've got a newsstand, Generation X newsstand in a hollow foil, a chromium foil cover. That's a keeper right there. We got all these keys here, Avengers, Initiative, Spider-Verse, Part 5, and Amazing Spider-Man 12, Part 4. This is my original book. I had several copies of this, which we sold off a couple of them. And this is my last remaining Death of Aunt May. This is also, I think, Stanley's last work on Spider-Man, if I'm not mistaken. His last written work on Spider-Man. So it's a key issue, I think. So we'll keep this one. It's my original comic book. We'll try to keep as many of those intact as possible. That's just a cool book right there. These are just keys, speculative keys that didn't really amount to much. I do like this one here. The first Jane Foster there. We're going to keep that one. That's a big book. Got some Electric Company Spidey. We always love that. Got some. Should have given Jay these Lethal Protectors along with the #1. Find homes for these though. These are key issues. We got Warlock #1 newsstand. We've got. This is the first Gatefold. Actually, this has the Gatefold poster in it. I'm going to keep this one. This has got the Gatefold poster. The first preview of the Spider-Man 2099. I'm going to keep that one. All right, we got more giveaway books here. Sell that. Don't want to give this She-Hulk booty cover away. This has the reprints of. This is a really interesting book. First off, you get this beautiful Frank Cho cover of the Red Hulk, and again, She-Hulk booty. But you got the reprints in here of Hulk 180 and Hulk 181. You got a Red Hulk versus She-Hulk story in here. So yeah, I mean, it's a big book, kind of. It should, when this She-Hulk was kind of like peaking, it was a big book, and this is a nice cover by Jim Chung here. So these two books, I mean, I feel like they're keep-worthy books. This is another first key appearance. This one is actually a big book here. What we have here is a preview of the Young Avengers, like the team, the first look at the team. And because this is a sketchbook, apparently this one, like, you just don't see pop up. It's like a low print sketchbook type thing. So these are kind of rare. So hopefully, again, if I do sell these to a collector, like this one's another key. They've got this at $1 bit. I mean, it's a ratty copy, but this is a big book too. It's First Mockingbird. Come on, that kind of stuff. It's a Frank Miller cover. This kind of stuff is like what collectors love. This is a first Miss Marvel. These are all keys right here. I'm showing you first Kate, not the first Kate Bishop, but it's her first solo series here. It's a big book. I think we'll keep this one. Transformers, we got second appearance of Deadpool. Got this incredible Hulk cover. I mean, Dale Keown, man, that's Dale Keown goodness right there. 90s Hulk. We may have to keep this one. We got some. This is the first Travis Charest art in comic books. I kind of like that. Let me keep this one. This is just a great Chris Bachalo cover. I love Chris Bachalo. Or is it Mendoza? No, it's not Chris Bachalo. It's another artist, but we love I think Bachalo does the interior on this one. So we love Chris Bachalo art, though. It's incredible. All this stuff is, yes, we'll go on the sell stuff. So this one, I think we're gonna try to sell it, and oh, that's a nice. I think this is my original comic book as well. I will just keep those two for now. All right. Now we got a bunch of John Byrne stuff here, which is another artist. He's here's number 2. That's a big one right there. Forget what's key about this one. I think it's a key for some reason. Great cover. Got Odin and all the Thors. Got 2 copies of that. All right. That's a sell. So we got some John Byrne books here to show off, I guess. Now these are we're gonna sell these, but I do love collecting John Byrne stuff, because he's just an incredible artist. That's cool. Look at that. Magneto battles the Black King. John Byrne. Black Queen and White Queen. What's going on here, right? The mutant stuff. This is just like my era of John Byrne collecting, right? So all this stuff is just real cool stuff to have. But we are going to part ways with it. But I do want to show you because oftentimes, like we don't really open up the comic books and look at, we just kind of focus on the covers on this show. And now that I'm, open to selling these and stuff, like for me, the keeping these, obviously I want to keep them pristine for the next person that will own them. But in terms of like opening it up and showing it and all that, since it's not going to remain in my collection, and this is not a big book anyway. It's not going to go from like a $3 book to a $1 book. It'll just stay a $1 book, if that. But I do want to show you because I just think John Byrne. If you love John Byrne, okay, and you love his like female form art, this is about as good as it gets. I mean, it's like you get She-Hulk, all the hottie Marvel female characters here. You got some great Cap, Fantastic Four stuff there, but like, look, you get all these great shots of the She-Hulk there swimming. Well, a lot of nice, just objectifying kind of art pieces there, and then you get all of them at some point. Look at that. Let me go. That's a nice. You know what I mean? Like this is again, if you love John Byrne and you love sort of like, I guess, good girl art, this is just the book to own because it is just a comic book full of just majestic lady panels in here. I guess it's here more toward the beginning panels here that you get to see it. Maybe it's on this first. There we go. So you just got all these like nice, kind of scantily clad, Yeah, nice issue. Get all these ladies in there. I think is an underappreciated. Not to say, and that's the thing about comic books, you can't read everything. So really people only appreciate the stuff that they've actually read and, looked at. But this one, I figure a lot of people in the community just like, it's out there, it's in dollar bins and all that. And probably would just be neglected, right? But again, if you love like lady art and if you don't, and you want to see it on more than just a cover, then this is the issue for you. Just selling my book to you guys as to why you should get that issue. All right, we've got a great Michael Turner Silver Surfer cover there. That is staying with us. That's a key book right here. X-Men versus the Avengers. I think this is their first quote unquote issue. Got some Boland, Flash, and Mr. Cold. Or Captain Cold, sorry. We got another Michael Turner. Oh man, that's a beautiful cover. This is another one, but we at some point have to like limit what we can take. So even though I collect Michael Turner and want more of his books, I think I can do without that one there. Well, let's take a look. Let's really kind of take a look at it and just see where we are on the spark joy meter. It's sparking a lot of joy right now. I gotta be honest with you. It's sparking a lot of joy. What to do? Yeah, gotta think about the value and all that as well. So I think for artists, my artist collection, I've got to come to a point where it's really has to just be like key pieces for me, like key pieces of their art. Like this is another Alex Ross X-Men. Yeah, how many Alex Ross X-Men covers do you see? It's really rare. So for me, this is a keeper. It's a keeper right there. 100 milestone issue. This is another beautiful cover there. We have a whole little array of X Factor books here, which I would love to just kind of keep. But I figure we could just kind of sell these as a set. Yeah, again, I gotta draw the line somewhere, and I just feel like I'm kind of at that point with X Factor and X-Men. Maybe in another lifetime we'll try to collect all this stuff again. But for now, I think I'm fine with saying sayonara to it. You got incredible. I mean, this is such a pivotal story arc. I remember reading this and being like, this Inferno and Fall of the Mutants back in the day. It was just as good as comic books get. And I don't know, maybe if I reread it, it'll not seem as interesting, but at the time, man, you were just so invested in these characters and what was going on in their lives. It really was. Yeah, it was kind of can't miss stuff. Yeah, we got a little box of to keep items as well as to sell or trade items as well, which is I'm going to put this in cell. I put these in the keeps pile. And we should be good. All right, we got a couple last books to get through, and these are obviously going to be in the sell pile. Got Jason Fabok. That's a cool cover. We got Streets of Gotham. These are just cool Batman covers, to be honest. Really dope. I feel like this one, with the success of Snyder and Absolute Batman, I feel like issues like this, we'll keep this one. This is just a classic cool cover, and it's in such high grade. We've also got the Barnes and Noble. This is the like newsstand kind of variant, Barnes and Noble variant there, which is a really limited print run. So I know it doesn't seem that way, but I think only time will tell. But again, this is not the best condition. It is a great Capullo cover, though. Capullo can do a Batman cover. I mean, I feel like he was built to do Batman. Like as great as he was on Spawn, I just feel like his forte is stuff like that, dark, kind of menacing, caped crusaders. All right, we're gonna put this Batman Day Endgame Special Edition. It's a free Barnes and Noble book. Jeez. Maybe there are a bunch of these. I don't know. Let me know if that's worth anything or not. All right, we're counting down. Oh man, it's late. All right, I gotta get to bed. This will be the last of the items, and I think these are what to do with these ones, man. First off, we got a Darth Vader 1 in really not good shape, so we'll sell that one. We got this one's cool. This one's actually really cool. I may keep this one because everybody loves Star Wars. We've got the Marvel Movie Showcase #1, which collects Star Wars issues 1, 2, and 3, or the Star Wars issues only. And so, but it's got the same cover as the classic Star Wars cover that on #1, with a little bit of a distant. These are these little text boxes are different, of course, but that's kind of a cool. It's got a price. Differs in price as well. It's a different title altogether, but it reprints the original. So we've got a little Star Wars run here. We've got 1, 4, 40, and 44. These are all key books here. It's the first. I think this is the first Rogue Squadron. That's a good one. And this is Empire Strikes Back and all that. So, these are, I'm going to sell this as a set. And I'll give priority to my viewers. If you want any of this stuff, hit me up. I should say, yeah, if you want the Star Wars stuff, hit me up, because I'll bundle it and just, again, not looking to make any money off this, just to sell it kind of at a discount and get it to somebody who will appreciate it, like a Star Wars fan will appreciate this stuff. So let me know if you want it. It's here if you want it. And with that, these are all going into the sell pile. And with that, we'll call it a night. Thanks for hanging out. Ron, looks like you're in Dreamland. Thanks for hanging out a little bit. We got Otaku Weekly Top 10 coming up on Friday, so join us again for that. I think for now, before we get into because I have all the stuff that I want to keep kind of in my it's partitioned away in my filing cabinet. And before I even attempt to do a keep or sell kind of stuff, I want to focus on selling what I've already put aside, which is like a banker's box full of stuff and another I want to say all in all, it's probably like 3 to 4 short boxes worth of stuff, which is significant, right? I think it's a good size collection for a lot of people to want to jump on, you know. And I'm not going to be asking like a crazy price for everything. Going to try to keep it relatively affordable for most collectors, but I think selling out these little lots will probably give me the best value. So we'll probably do a Facebook listing at some point, and we'll go from there. So thanks for hanging out, guys. See you in the next one. Peace out.